Hello everybody to a beautiful Imola afternoon here for round number 8 of the iRacing Israel League Season 3 in the Porsche Cup cars. My name is Dane Baird, and alongside me in the commentary booth once again is Adam Barth. He's back, and Samuli Kumo is on production. Adam, welcome back to the series after missing a round, which is unusual for you, but we're here at Imola. It's going to be a great round.
Yeah, it sucked to miss the last one, but yeah, great to be back. And I couldn't really have picked a better track to return to, could we? With Imola coming up soon in the Formula One calendar, of course. So the Porsche Cup cars are set to be let loose around the former home of the San Marino Grand Prix for many years. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen here, especially with the run from Rivazza all the way down the front straight into Tamburello. I know the slipstream isn't too good in these Porsches, but it should be able to help just a little bit in terms of creating some overtaking opportunities here as we get set for the race that's coming up today.
Absolutely, down that front straight should be a real overtaking opportunity, especially from my experience in the car. But we've got some championship standings to show you after 7 rounds of 12. Shalva Kateshvili currently leading the championship with 250 points. He's got a nice 36-point advantage to Oren Sade in second. The organizer Amir Meshanam in third, then with Madi Bakar in fourth and Michael Scherling in fifth. And we've got Hagai Farron, Alon Zeltzer, Reem Gross, Dekal Nar, Yossi Gabay, Ori Lahav, John Chico in the top 12. You can see on the right-hand side the points difference there. Almost nothing separating the midfield driver there.
Yeah, it's so close in the championship standings at the moment. As we have come to see over the last couple of weeks in this series, it's been different winners in most weeks here. That's how topsy-turvy it's been. So yeah, it's all to play for as the season continues, and with iRacing updating the car just a little bit in the new build, that could throw an extra span into the works as well. Some drivers may have liked the car in the past, may absolutely hate it now, so that's something else to factor into the equation too.
Myself included in that. It used to be my favorite car on the surface. I think they've ruined the car in the newest update. It doesn't drive how it used to. It used to be, as I said, my favorite car. But a lot of drivers still turning up. I believe we've got 30 on the grid, which is one of the largest grids we've seen all season. Huge grid at Imola here. Hagai Farron currently leading, but Shava did not set his first that time. It was invalidated. He ran wide out of the final corner, which wouldn't have helped him to start his new lap. The track limits here are pretty lenient, I would say. You can run quite wide on most of the corners, taking to the AstroTurf or the painted concrete on the outside. Not here. You've got to be really careful. One of the biggest opportunities to catch a slow zone, or a slowdown even, which is definitely not what you want, especially on the first lap of the race. I've seen many drivers' races ruined here at Imola by running wide there on lap number 1. Slowdown penalties seem to be especially harsh on lap number 1. iRacing gets a bit confused. It doesn't really know what advantage you've gained. But let's ride on board with Hagai Farron into the final couple of corners then. And he is currently still leading. Reem Gross actually has just tipped him at the top of the standings.
See if he can regain his spot at the top of the standings then out of Rivazza. Coming through where the final chicane used to be. It's now just a flat-out blast down the front straight over the line. Is it going to be pole position for Hagai Farron? Is he going to reclaim it? No, he doesn't. He remains second with a 1:45.1. What about Shalva? Can he improve? He does go to the top of his timing standings with a 1:44.63, just half a tenth of a second quicker than Reem Gross as Shalva lays down his marker. And what about Madi Bakar? He's in 7th, currently 8 tenths of a second away from pole. Can he get any closer to the front of the grid? He comes across the line and does a 1:45.0, which puts him nicely onto the second row of the grid with a couple of minutes to go in the qualifying session.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like a lot of the drivers have finished their 2 allocated lap times as well. Low in qualifying, so they're not sharing the same track. They're all out there on their own to set their fastest 2 laps possible. Here's Ramaitek in the 95 car going to cross the line. A lot of the drivers will stay out on track and just use the rest of the qualifying session as a basically extended practice before the race. A big lock up into the first set of corners there. But you can see a lot of the drivers on the left-hand side grayed out. They've retired back to the pit lane already. They're finished. Here is a man we've seen quite a lot of in recent rounds. This is Reuven Chashashvili in the 42 car. He got his first win, I believe, 3 weeks ago in the last round of the series. at Lime Rock Park, taking advantage of Shalva's mistake and taking the win. It was a great sight for him, at least. Shalva was leading the race pretty comfortably for most of it, but he ended up just touching the grass and slamming it into a wall, which wasn't great for him, but it allowed Ruben Chachishvili. Oh, he's gone on pole position by 3/10.
What a lap. 3/10 of a second, as he said, quicker than Shalva in second place. Putting down a really good lap there. Purple in every sector. And yeah, he's now on pole position. 3/10 of a second ahead of Shalva in second place. And I wonder if anyone can beat that. Is there any one track that will be able to beat that? What about this guy, Amir Meshalem? We've seen him in the past. He's been pretty good this season. Now coming through the final Ravazza, and he's currently in P7. He shouldn't get an off track for running onto that AstroTurf there. And will he be able to improve on his personal best, which is a 1:45.2. Over the line he goes, and he stays where he is with a 1:46.8, which means that car 777 will be starting in P7 unless John Chico or Sardeckle can improve their laps late on.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I think those two drivers have both finished their laps, so they are currently just driving around for some extended practice. And yeah, you can see he's just coming around. Then John Chico in 9th position at the moment, about halfway through the lap into Variante Acqua Minerale.
Very tight chicane there, Variante Alta at the top of the hill. Translates as high chicane, I believe. Now we plunge back down the hill into the first of the Ravazzas. 2 90-degree corners to end the lap. Potential overtaking opportunity if you can get it right, going into the braking zone there. And then running out wide as we saw Amir Meshalem doing just a couple of moments ago. And here comes the finish line. It comes up pretty quickly. John Chico P9, over line he goes. His personal best was a 1:45.5, and just like Amir Meshalem, he doesn't improve on that. So I think, as you said, Dane, he's just continuing to get some laps in, get some practice in before the clock expires, which it has just done so now.
And all the cars that were on track, I think there were a good 4 or 5 of them, using the extra time as practice, have been unceremoniously kicked off the circuit. And we've got the grid then for the race as all the drivers grid up instantly. Ruben Chachishvili on pole position. We don't normally see that in the background of the shots. They normally take a while. But anyway, Shalva is going to start 3/10 down in second position. Reem Gross will start in third. Top 3, top 4. All race winners in the series, of course. Maddie Bakar in 5th. Michael Sherling, another race winner, in 6th. Amir Meshalem in 7th. And Rancioni in 8th. And on the 5th row of the grid, John Chico and Sardeckle rounding out the top 10. Oren Sade and Rom Itak on row 6. As I've just lost on my screen the grid, Adam.
Oh yeah, we're looking at the rest of the grid now. Yevgeny Patent there in 21st, and Tomo Ventura, Leon Portman, Gil Epstein, Moshi Pinchevsky starting at the back of the grid in 31st place. 31 cars for this race here at Imola. Will be Dor Malka in the 14 car. We've got every single car minus Shalva on the grid. We're just waiting for the man who's going to be starting in second place to arrive on the grid. And then we'll be getting the light sequence to get this latest round of the iRacing Israel League underway. They are all on the grid now, Dane. Here come the lights. 5 red lights are on. The lights are on, away we go. And it's a great start from the man who started third on the grid, Reem Gross. He might try and spin the 2 cars in front of the grid. No, he doesn't. And watch out for Shalva going into the first corner, into the Tamburello chicane. But it is going to be Reuven, the pole sitter, that leads, or does he? He led through the first part, but now now that Shalva has got the speed on the outside, he's got the racing line as well, and he takes the lead. Oh, and it's a spin, and that is Haggai Farron. Oh no, the good qualifying from Haggai has immediately gone to waste. He's been potentially hit by someone, and is off in the wall. Tomo Ventura has also had to tow back to the pits after early contact, potentially, who knows? But here we go, into the toaster hairpin. Reem Gross is going into combat with Michael Scherling, Matty Bakar, and Ruben Chachashvili as well. But it is Shalva that leads. He has got a 1 second advantage already as they go over the top of the hill and into the Piratella, as there's all sorts of position changes going on in the midfield. Oh, what a slide by. Oh no, and it's resulted in the chain reaction, concertina effect, and it's resulted in loads of cars going off. Michael Scherling in the wall. That is car 50. Is that Haggai Farron again? Now it's Reem Gross. Oh no, this is the worst possible start to the race. Everybody crashing into one another. Aquinum and Arali. Cold tyres, cold brakes. A new car as well in some ways, because iRacing have updated the Porsche 911, and well, there are cars everywhere, and it's really changed the order of the race. On the opening lap, that's Peter Green sideways. That's the familiar pink car 420 Michael Simon. It was all sorts of out of shape at Variante Alta. Oh goodness me, what's this done to the order then? I think one thing that's remained the same is that Shalva leads, but I don't know if you saw that, Dane, but this all resulted from Ruben Chachashvili getting sideways on the exit of the Piratella and causing a massive concertina effect behind him, with everybody checking up. Oh, and it's carrying on the front straight. That's Haggai Farron again, isn't it? Haggai Farron around in the final corner on the exit of Vatsa, and he's almost certainly going to have to return to the pits. Well, what a crazy opening lap that was. Let's run you through the order then, and first, in fact, let's have a look at a replay. So this is Ruben Chachashvili at the time going into battle with Reem Gross. Battle going on here. Then Reem Gross gets hung out to dry somewhat on the exit of Tosa. Not much grip on the outside, which allows the ORG car up the inside. Yeah, let's have a look. So turning into the Piratella then, Ruben Chachashvili is going to get onto the AstroTurf, gets a little bit sideways, gets going again. Oh, and then it all starts from there. Somebody had already gone off in the background as well. Rancioni, the Golf car heavily damaged. Then the AlphaTauri liveried car goes into the side. Then cars come back across the track, and even then they're still trying to put the power down, trying to get back on track. Some cars have got suspension broken, like Rancioni. You can't even keep the car in a straight line, and almost collide with someone there. And that's the state of play. Well, what this has meant is that the field is very strung out. Shalva leads by 3.2 seconds over Ruben Chachashvili in second. You can just about make him out there at the back of the shot. And it's Sardekel 9 seconds back in P3. And then it's Yossi Gabai up 9 places to P4. Gil Epstein, who was one of the cars towards the rear of the field that we picked out, has gained 19 places. And Near Cott has gained 24 places. And look at some of these cars, Sam, as we bring you in while we await the return of Dane. Some of the cars have got a whole load of damage, and they're still trying to carry on and get a really good result here.
Yeah, some of these guys really struggled at the start. Just a moment, let me adjust my microphone.
No problem at all. This is a lap or time race. We are on lap 3 of 18. It is a 35-minute race as well, so whatever comes first will determine how long the race is. And what a chaotic opening 2 laps that's been. It looks like there might be a problem for Sir, who was listed as off the track. There's Cher that's in the pits. I think it was really Sir who was in 16th place, but never mind now. Look at this scrap. This is going into Tosa. This is Omaitak versus Gilad Heskia. And Yehuda Ben Yosef in there too. Side by side up the hill we go. This is a fight over 15th and 16th place. Very tight line taken there by Yosef there. And it's now meant that he's now under pressure from the Braun GP livery car of Ron Cohen, and really Sieur, who's in 19th place, who has gained 8 spots since the start of the race. That was Heskia just going a bit wide there at Aquinum and Arali. The 16 car is able to keep the place where he started. Up the inside there, Ron Cohen into the Variante Alta, but no way through there. Very difficult place to get an overtake done. It is such a tight chicane. And Yossi Gabai putting in a new personal best as well, as he and Gil Epstein are very close on track. In fact, it's Epstein and near Kopp. Kopp with that front end damage looks like he's really struggling in a straight line. Oh, but then near Kopp straight line to Tamburello, outbrakes himself, couldn't turn in, trying to put the power down as well, which is more difficult than you think in these Porsche 911 Cup cars. And the battle goes on. Oh, knocking door handles, and off goes Gil Epstein straight across the gravel at the Villeneuve chicane, back onto the circuit, hopefully in a safe manner. That was contact with, I believe that was John Chico in the free car, or was it Yossi Gabai? It was in fact John Chico.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Epstein is struggling with the damage. Let's just go on board and see how his car is actually driving. Yeah, it looks alright here, but it's definitely looking like in some corners he's just losing a lot of time, and that's why this back car was able to really get by.
I think it's one thing where you're slow on a straight line, but when you're slow in the corners, that can really hinder you. It doesn't look too bad going through the corners here. I think, as we saw when he was going into battle with Nick Kopp a couple of moments ago, it was a result of the fact that he just had no straight line speed at all on the front straight, which is from the exit of Ravazza down to Tamburello. It's quite a long straight. Here is John Chico then in P5. Let's see what Peter Green can do. He's already had a remarkable start to the race. He's gained 23 spots, and he could make it 24 here as he tries to reel in the free car. Might have to worry about the car behind. That's Matty Picardo was looking at the inside there. Tamburello, Sam, it's a corner where you've really got to be alongside if you're going to get moved on at the inside, because it's not the slowest braking, it's not the hardest braking zone, I should say, on the whole track, which means that it doesn't really invite an overtaking move unless you're really late on the brakes.
No, but then on the other hand, you can actually make it work both outside and inside, because it's a corner sequence there, and you can even use it to set up the pass to the second chicane coming up after that.
Just looking at those position gains on the timing tower as well, it's really thrown the form bucket up in the air somewhat, or the incidents on the opening lap. You can see they're Green up 23 spots, Epstein up 16, Kopp and Malka up 21 places each. There is near Kopp, who we saw going across the gravel at the Tamburello chicane, has managed to carry on, and he is in P9. And he is, last time around, he was fractionally quicker than Gil Epstein in front of him. So with a bit of, if he continues that run of form, and with Epstein sustaining that damage, he should be near him in a couple of laps. Meanwhile, Peter Green, he's going to set up Chico brilliantly here, up the inside into the second Ravazza. Is he going to be able to get it done though before we get onto the front straight? This could be interesting, Sam, because here comes car 277, Matty McCarr, and he's trying to prise the door open, and with a bit of force, it looks like he might have just done that.
Yeah, that was Green was basically setting up the pass, but what that actually just caused is that they lost the run on the straight, and now McCarr is actually able to make the pass on both of them.
What a great move, and you can see just how big those sausage curves are on the inside, because Porsche's Porsche 911 Cup cars were really struggling over that. Going into the Villeneuve chicane, and 4 cars in the shots. As Chico gets hit by Green. That allows Gil Epstein into the equation. That front left's already damaged, and he used it to kind of nerf Peter Green off the circuit, and he's going to have to do a 360-degree spin and get back going again. And that's a massive shame for him, because he had gained quite a lot of places, and Oren Sade has just overtaken him. I think we are joined once again by Dane Baird, trying to find a way of summarising what's just happened in the first third of the race, Dane. But it's been all action, as you can see from that timing tower.
Yeah, I did see I had the timing tower and all the SDK overlay still working. iRacing decided to drop out for a few minutes, and good to be back. But it is looking very interesting. I just saw all of the drivers on the timing tower swapping positions like crazy, and from what I heard from you, Adam, it sounded pretty interesting to say the least. All the drivers seem to be spread out, And yeah, I'm looking forward to the remaining half a race pretty much, but unsurprisingly, Chalva's still in the lead.
And he has extended it since we last with me. It's 2.3 seconds up the road. It's very close in the fight for third and fourth, I should say. That is Sardekel versus Yossi Gabai. They've also got quite a few lapped cars near them as well. In fact, Yossi's trying to get by one of them now. That's Mancioli, who was one of the cars heavily damaged at the start of the race down at Aquinum and Arali. The blue flag, you don't get penalised if you hold up someone on iRacing. The blue flag is really merely advisory here. And since they crossed the line, that gap's opened up quite a little bit between Sardekel and Yossi Gabai there. It's now up to 2.3 seconds as Sagai Farron also unlaps himself.
Yeah, they want to get going. They're getting past Yossi Gabai, who's currently up nicely in fourth. He got his first podium of the league 3 weeks ago at Lime Rock Park. It was a crazy race there, and he did an amazing job to finish up in third position. He was very happy with that one. He said it was going to give him a lot of confidence heading into this round, and he's up in fourth, albeit due to some carnage, which seemed like on lap number 1, but he is definitely doing very well here in Imola.
It's Sardekel who's up 7 places since the start of the race. It always seems to be the way in the Israel League. We get quite a few upsets. We've had quite a few upsets this season. Of course, the Charlotte Roval threw up quite a lot of different scenarios there with the very tricky bus stop chicane. So now here we are at Imola, and the same's happened again, all as a result of a series of massive collisions on the first lap. The first was Hagai Farron losing it on the exit of Tamburello. Then on the run down to Aquin Minerali from Piratella, it was Ruben Chachashvili who got sideways, and then everybody was unable to slow down behind him, and then resulted in a lot of contact. David Dyer was coming into the pits, not sure why. And he was running inside the top 15, but he's just come in for something. It might be incident related, I'm not sure. But Yehuda Ben Youssef has just overtaken him now and gone to P13.
Yeah, not sure why he entered the pits. He's actually back out on track now, so if I had to guess, he's just gone to take his fast repair and possibly forgotten to uncheck fuel or tyres. Because as far as we're aware, at least, they don't have a mandatory pit stop this round. We saw that in a couple of rounds this season so far, but not here. So it must have been an error in the pit stop, because there's no other reason for him to be pitting except to use that one fast repair that the drivers get.
Here's Dawn Malka then. He started right at the back and is now on the cusp of a top 10 finish. He's in 11th place as it stands, 20 places gained, and he is within striking distance of Oren Sade, who is in front. I bet you Dawn Malka, just before the lights went out, would have thought of a good target for him in this race. I don't think a top 10 would have been there. He's very good, but I don't know whether he envisaged gaining 20 places in this race. So I bet you would be very happy where he is at the moment, and it could get a lot better if he can get by Oren Sade as they come across the line to start lap 9, and we're very quickly approaching half race distances. Michael Simon and Rom Itak now come into the pits as well.
This is interesting. Maybe there is a fuel stop that we're not aware of. We've seen 3 drivers now entering the pits. And according to our producer Sam Kumo, everyone seems to have the same time pit stop of around 9 seconds, and he's absolutely right. Looking at the live timing screen, it looks like there is a fuel stop. That's going to throw a spanner in the works.
are some of the pit times on the screen now. Back out onto the track they go. 9.9 for Sherling, 9.9 for Ross, Zeltzer, Nar, Diag, all around the 9-second area. Decon are 8.4 seconds. Well, we saw a mandatory pit stop, didn't we, a couple of weeks back, and that was at Brands Hatch.
Silverstone was the mandatory pit stop. Brands Hatch is where the session lasted longer than they thought and everyone ran out of fuel at the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Here comes Yossi, goodbye then. He's into the pits. Pit lane siren as well. You might have just heard there. That's good for this iRacing season. Into the pit box he goes. Let's see what kind of stop, lengthful stop Yossi Kabay has there. Here we go, hits his marks. Now, the quickest stop we've seen is an 8.5, which was done by Decon. Away he goes, and that was a 9.2 second stop for the green and black Porsche 911 there, driven by Yossi Kabay.
Yeah, so definitely is a mandatory fuel stop then, it seems. All the drivers calculating their fuel well. We haven't seen anyone take an absurdly long pit stop as of yet, as Heskia enters the pits from 13th, now down into 14th. And Leon Portman has joined him in the pit lane. We've got lots of drivers entering the pits.
What about our race leader, Shalva? Stays out for another lap. Of course, he started second on the grid, and then had a good duel through the Tamburello chicane with Ruben Chachashvili, the pole sitter. And then Shalva was able to was able to take the lead away, and hasn't looked back since. He is coming up to lap Michael Simon. Oh, and a car off. That was ITAC, I think.
Oh, there's been contact. Possibly. That was ITAC and Simon. Simon in his big inspired livery. Oh dear.
Here's a replay of what happened then. Simon, missed the first part of the chicane, tried to save it, hit that curve, and then unfortunately there was nowhere for Rom to go. Fortunately, it doesn't reverse into the path of the leader, and also Ruben Chachashvili getting through too. So that's what happened down at the Tamburello chicane. Sardekel, near Cop, Ori Lahav, Malka have all come in to make their stops. Ben Yosef is in the pit lane now, so more and more drivers inside the top 12, top 13 are all coming in to make that mandatory visit to the pits. And they are running out of laps, the cars that haven't, because as you can see, one lap 11 of 18, very quickly approaching 2/3 distance. And you don't want to end up making a mistake or making a minor adjustment that's wrong with the fuel, because then all of your hard work will be undone. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars are yet to make their stop, and they are all, incidentally, as you can see, in the top 6. And it looks like Shalva has carried on for another lap, so too has Reuven. Both of those have not come in. What about Madi Bakar? Here he is, P3. Is this going to be the lap for Madi Bakar? Yes, it is. So the car that is currently running in 3rd comes into the pits, makes sure he hits the pit lane speed limiter. There he goes. John
Chico's car off in the background.
Oh yeah. Oh no, buried in the tyre barrier. It's Rancioni.
Oh, he's stuck.
Oh,
the tyre barrier swallowed him, and he's having to reset. There he pops into his pit box. That's probably going to be the shortest tow possible.
And I think that'll be him done for the day, because I think he's already used his fast repair, because he got heavily damaged in the incident at the start of the race.
Oh, Alon Zoltzer cutting the chicane. He's probably, I would have thought, getting a turn after that, but apparently not. He's going to carry on in 13th as Oren Sade and Gil Epstein enter the pit lane. He's actually just leaving the pit lane now.
total pit lane time, so from coming in, doing your stop and getting back out again, is around 45 to 50 seconds, which is quite a lot around here. It's the best part of half a lap it takes to come in and get your tyres, or get your fuel I should say, and get back out there. And into the pits comes our race leader, and Ruben Chachashvili in as well, so this could be a race-defining moment, especially if one driver either sped going into the pits or has not got the fuel set. So here we go, trundling down the pit lane at 60 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, this is going to feel excruciatingly slow for them. Where is John Chico? He's currently coming round the final corner, or the final sequence of corners. Chachashvili pitting just ahead of Shalva. Shalva's going to go straight through him and leave him behind. Where is John Chico? John Chico pits. Didn't realize that he hadn't already pitted. I thought that might be a change of a lead, but no, it isn't. Shalva's going to come back out in first, and comfortably so. The next driver is Michael Sherling, who is just entering the final sequence of corners now.
Yeah, so the top two on circuit remain P1 and P2 after they make their stops. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to be completing the podium as it stands, because P4, which is Michael Sherling, is coming onto the front straight now, and he has already made the stop. So where's John Chico in all this? I think he is on his way out. He's still in the pit lane, but he is on his way to the pit lane exit, and he's not going to be in third place. He will just about still be inside the top 10. He's emerging now, and he is in P7.
Yeah, so a drop of a few positions for him. Oh, here's a bit of side-by-side action almost between Nikop Mizrahi and Reem Gross just behind. Oh, Nikop looked like he just got a bit loose on the exit to slow right down. That's allowed Gross to catch right up to the back of him. This isn't really an overtaking spot here, but he can get a good exit, which he has done. He's going to have the outside line. He's going to cut down to the inside, blocked by Mizrahi just ahead of him, following closely through the hairpin, and now up the hill they go.
Yeah, I tried to sell him a dummy there, didn't he, going into Tosa. Nikop, who's at 22 places, does not want to give one of them away, and Reem Gross, who was one of the guys that qualified towards the front of the field at the start of the race, but then things went a bit awry down at Aqua Minerali, and now he's on the comeback trail, of course, with that fast repair. I don't think Nikop's going to hold him up too much. And there goes Reem Gross through into P8 with 5 laps to go. And can he catch John Chico? The gap is 1.9 seconds. And Reem Gross did 1:45.5 on that last lap. There's the difference in terms of lap times. 1.8 seconds quicker, 1 second, half a second, 1.7 seconds, all before the pit stops took place. So this could be very interesting in terms of a late race scrap for what will be 7.
Oh dear, looks like ITAC has gone off at Aqua Minerali. Just looking on the track map on the right hand side of the screen. He's got going again now though. You can see there's actually a bit of damage to the front of his car. Could be completely unrelated. Oh dear!
Oh no, that's Michael Sherling. He was on for a podium. And now he's around at the Villeneuve chicane. How on earth has this happened? John Chico goes by. That's Chico now up into the top 6. But the man who was running in third place and wasn't under any really sort of pressure at all has now tumbled down the auto very quickly. Here's what happened then. First part of it. Oh no! Victim of the sausage curve on the inside. Pitched the car into a spin. Fortunately, the gravel trap's on proper, like in real life, and he's able to get the car going again. Otherwise, he'd have been totally stuck on to compound measures. To compound the whole thing, he has a half spin while trying to put the power back into it. What a disaster for Michael Sherling.
Oh, he's caught right back up to Chico though. They seem to have completed a large portion of the lap as we went back to look at the replay, and now there's a 3-car scrap here that we get to have a look at for 6th, 7th and 8th.
This is going to be a fantastic scrap because we were just talking before that happened about Reem Gross arriving onto the scene. And now we've got Michael Sherling to throw into the equation as well. We're on lap 15 of 18 now. 4 laps to go, including the one we're on. Is Sherling going to go for a full send into Tamburello? Does look at it. Enough to make John Chico just turn a little bit early. Oh, he clips the sausage curve. These things are lethal around Imola. Sherling goes offline. He's gone off the circuit. Immediately has to defend from the very quickly approaching Reem Gross. And now they're going to go into the Villeneuve chicane. And Sherling just about holds the plate.
That was very brave from Sherling to cut across Chico like that twice. Oh, they even Reem Gross behind him twice. But now this is less looking forward for Sherling and more looking in his mirrors. Gross just 2/10 behind him. A couple of car lengths separating them with just over 3 laps to go.
Gotta say, if we're doing a competition,
Oh, dear!
Off. And that's Aquanim and Arali biting once again as Chico goes wide.
He'll get a slowdown.
Oh yeah, he will.
I think he's managed to serve it by going side by side through the chicane. That would have helped him serve it a little bit. He's not going to lose too much time, but he's lost both positions, of course.
If the F1 race is anything like this, we could be in for the cracker when that happens in a couple of weeks. These guys are putting on a show here. As you can see by the gaps on the timing tower, you can tell that quite a lot's happened. I heard the pit lane siren going then. I think really Sieur has just come into the pits for a second time. But here's the fight of the race so far. It's a fight for 6th place involving Michael Sherling, Reem Gross and John Chico. Make sure you avoid those sausage curbs on the inside. Reem Gross trying to shape up Sherling here through the Tamburello chicane. Oh, sideways on the exit there of Villeneuve. They really are pushing with 3 laps to go. Elsewhere, this is the closest battle on the circuit. I think the next one after that is Decal Nar, Alan Zeltzer, here they are, and Dawn Malka, 12th, 13th and 14th. Late race scrap for these guys. They've been laps as well by Shalva, and I know that they haven't been laps. They are just a little bit of away from our race leaders.
Yeah, it's good to see them having a bit of a scrap at the end. 2 laps to go then for Shalva. Oh, a little bit deep into Tamburello there. He's got Haggai Farron, who would usually be battling with him for position, but is instead trying to maybe unlap himself. Seemingly, I would assume, caught up in that one of the incidents on lap number 1. We're not used to seeing him all the way down in 24th in laps, Haggai Farron.
Haggai Farron was the car that was around on the exit, the Tamburello chicane on the opening lap of the race. So. Meanwhile, here's Michael Sherling and Reem Gross there. 2 laps to go, or 1.5 in fact, and on board with car 50, the red and black car, trying to chase down the, silver and yellow. Exit Villeneuve coming into Tosa. Is it worth a move at this stage? There is still 1 more lap to go after this. Oh, an opportunity's presented itself for Reem Gross. He's up the inside. Michael Schilling's able to just about pull back ahead.
Yeah, but he might send it down the inside. No, he's not. He's just going to hold back. Like you said, there is still another lap. And the best overtaking opportunity of the morning is still into Tamburello. He's got a fantastic advantage here. Now he's just 2/10 behind. He needs to maintain position, I would have thought, as Shalva starts the final lap of the race.
One lap to go then. And it's all about who's going to finish in the top 6 here out of Michael Schurling or Reem Gross. It's a fantastic scrap between these two. Great racing between the pair. No contact has been made between the two as of yet. And hopefully it stays that way. Great exit on the exit Ravazza there by Reem Gross. Is he going to be able to carry that down the front straight? Saw a little bit of smoke ahead, but I don't think it's anyone in particular. Whoa! Schurling straight to the inside, defending as much as he can. Is he going to be able to hold on to it into the Tamburello though? He's able to park the car on the right hand side, and now Reem Gross isn't able to get by.
Yeah, he's normally quicker through Tamburello, Reem Gross. Obviously trying to hold it around the outside, but the door was shut on him by Michael just ahead, but he has now got just a few corners and not many overtaking zones left. He's so close to less than a car length separating them through the hairpin as they head their way up the hill now. Meanwhile, Shalva's about to come around the final corner. There he is.
Oh, what a race it's been for Shalva. It was action-packed on the first lap, but since then he's been able to stretch the lead and maintain the lead. Even when he made his pit stop, he takes the checkered flag and wins the latest round at the iRacing Israel League. And he's going to win it by 6.9 seconds with Ruven Chachashvili coming home in second place.
Yeah, it's a good drive from Shalva then, extending his lead at the top of the championship then. Flash of the headlights from Ruven. He's saying it could have been mine. Meanwhile, Schurling and Reem Gross almost went side by side into the final sequence of corners. Here's Matty Picard going to take the third step on the podium. And looks like Schurling is just going to hold off for 6th position then. There he goes.
Here's Ron Cohen. This is David Dyer going into the penultimate corner. Oh, Cohen. Small mistake there. It's going to be a Cohen that comes home in 17th place. David Dyer coming home in 16th. Good drive by David Dyer to gain 10 places from where he started, down in 26th, and he managed to get a top 16 result out of that.
Oh, massive lockup. Oh dear.
That was like 10-pin bowling, that.
He was a passenger into Tamburello there, locked the rears. Wasn't expecting the car just ahead of him to be stopped there, but yeah, a little bit of contact at the end of the race never hurt anyone. But lap 18 completed, just over half an hour into the race. We still got a driver left out on track. No, I think everyone's finished at this point. And there are the race results.
So, Shalva Kvitelashvili wins the race, with Ruven Chachashvili coming home in second, just 6.9 seconds between them in the end. Matty Bakar completes the podium. Sardekel in fourth, just ahead of Michael Schurling, while Michael, who was just ahead of Reem Gross, in fact, just a couple of tenths, just 3 tenths of a second between the pair. Then Reem Gross, John Chico, Nir Kopp, and Ori Lahav completing the top 10. Oren Sade in 11th, Dekal Nar completing the top dozen, over a minute behind. Then Alan Zeltzer, Amir Meshalem, Dawn Malka in 15th, and 16th David Diag, then Ron Cohen, Ron Itak in 18th place. Moving on back, 19th for Michael Simon, 20th for Gilad Heskia. Gil Epstein there in 21st place. Despite the damage, I wonder if he got a fast repair to get back up there. Then Haggai Farron, who spun off on the opening lap of the race. Yehuda Ben Yosef, 23rd, 24th for Moshi Pinchevsky. There's Leon Portman, Aiden Scher, Ran Sioni, Toma Ventura, really Tsier, Yevgeny Payton, Peter Green down there in 31st place. I think he was the biggest loser out of all of the contact that was made on the opening lap of the race. In fact, I think Peter Green, he used up both of his fast repairs, I think, didn't he? Oh no, that was Rancioni, I apologise.
Well, that was an action-packed race. I missed all of the action, most of the action anyway, it seems. So we got a bit more at the end there with Michael Schörling, Reemgras and John Chico. They gave us a bit of racing there at the end. But Adam, I think we've got some drivers for you to interview, starting off with the race winner.
Yeah, let's get Shalva in for a quick word. And he joins us in the interview room now. Shalva, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Hello, Adam.
Well done. Another victory for yourself, and it was all decided in the opening few corners. A good start away from the line, and then a really good battle between you and Ruven through the Tamburello chicane.
Yeah, for sure. Ruven was the fastest by far on qualifying. He had 4 tenths on me and Ram and the other guys. So I went the Alon Day way. Just attacking, maximum attack on the first corner, try and overtake, or else the victory would be much more difficult. So after I overtook him, I managed to get a gap somehow. I don't know, of like 3 seconds, and I pretty much held that same gap until the pit stops. So me and Ruven were extremely close on pace, so it was keeping me honest. I had to keep pushing. But after the pit stop, I really don't know what happened. Maybe a couple of mistakes on Ruven's part, and the gap opened up to 8 seconds or something like that. And from there, it was just smooth sailing to the end.
What were the main things you had to watch out for once you've got a bit of clear track in front of you? Was there lap traffic and some of the curbs as well? They look pretty tough.
Yeah, this track is a death trap, to be honest. A lot of the curbs, like you hit it the wrong way and you just bounce the other way. Also with the traffic, it's quite tricky because it's a narrow track and the back markers are fighting for a position as well, so they don't really want to give the position easily. So you really have to squeeze inside, which happened a couple of times. But yeah, just normal, regular stuff.
And how have you been finding the Porsche since the updated iRacing build a couple of weeks back?
Much more stable, to be honest. A little bit less unpredictable, if it may. More predictable, it's a better way to say it. It still has its quirks, like from being a rear-engined car. So it's always going to feel a little bit weird, always going to be a little bit difficult to catch. But much more predictable. I enjoy it. I enjoyed it for a long time, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy it going on.
Just having a look at where we are off to next. Dane, do you have that info?
I do not. I can see if I can find it really quickly.
We're going to Okayama, I'm pretty sure.
There we go.
Okayama.
Oh, there we go. A bit more of a technical circuit than here at Imola, but yeah, how would you rate that circuit?
I really don't like it, to be honest. It's like a Mickey Mouse track, like really unsuited for the car, a little bit too small, like Lime Rock last week. But we'll have to manage. Overtaking is gonna be even more difficult than Imola, so the quali pace is gonna be extremely important. So we're gonna have to start practicing for that.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. I don't. Aside from the long straight on the back of the circuit, which isn't really that long at all compared to what we've been seeing here at Imola. Yeah, that's going to be quite tough. Well, Shalva, well done. Before we let you go, do you want to send a quick shout out to anyone?
Thank you, Amir. You're doing a great job, and see you guys next time. Thank you very much.
Great. Well, yeah, thanks a lot, Shalva, and all the best. And we'll speak to you again in a couple of weeks.
Bye.
Good to hear from Shalva there.
Yeah, let's see who else we've got for an interview. We've got second place man, Ruven Chachasvili. Let's get him in for a quick chat. And he joins us now then. Second place man Ruben, welcome.
Hey, good evening. How are you?
Yeah, we're doing pretty well here in the commentary booth. Second place for you then. Most drivers I think would be pretty happy with that, but given how the race went for you, you might be a little bit disappointed it wasn't for the win.
To be honest, I have a little bit of guilt feelings about the accident in the first lap. I almost lost the car and I felt like it can come back. I didn't lose too much speed, so I did manage to keep the second place there, but second after all the disaster began. So basically, I'm happy with where I arrived, but I'm a bit of sorry about everything that happened before. I don't think that it's the blame of me of all the others. It's kind of a racing incident as far as I think, though it's pretty sad that such a race finished like this.
Yeah, I actually missed the start because my iRacing decided to drop out, so I still haven't seen. I'm gonna have to go and watch that back on the broadcast replay in a few minutes' time when we finish up here. I'm gonna have to go and see what happened because it sounded pretty exciting.
Take a popcorn with you.
Oh yeah, well I'll have to go and watch that back in a few minutes then. But pit stops for this race, we weren't expecting it in the commentary box, but similar to what we saw back at Silverstone. I don't even know if you were driving with us in the iRacing Israel League back at Silverstone this season, but pit stops must have thrown a bit of an interesting challenge in there with a pretty difficult pit entry here.
Yeah, it was pretty difficult pit entry. But by the way, Silverstone was my first race in this league. I had a different hardware in that times. Now I feel much confident with my new hardware, though the pit entry there was much better than this one. Also, I had, I think, a pit strategy comparing to Shalva, which just exited so fast from the pit. I had the fuel for a whole trip, not for 5 or 6 laps that were left. So I guess I could have done it better, though I managed to keep the second place. It was pretty far, and Shalva always did his best and was so fast and so hard to get over. So, but yeah, the second place is left the second place. I guess that that accident at the beginning was part of this easy ability to keep the second.
Yeah, well that's 2 podiums in a row for you then after the win at Lime Rock Park last time out. You must be feeling pretty good heading into the next round, which we believe is at Okayama.
Oh, I hate Okayama, to be honest. I hate this guy. So I'm pretty glad that the 2 podiums comes with 2 tracks that I love so much, especially Imola. I think that is a great track. It's so tricky, so technical, not slow as Lime Rock, though it has its uniqueness. So I'm pretty happy with those podiums. The last podium was thanks to Shalva, to be honest. The first place wasn't belong to me, but the second place after Shalva, I feel pretty glad.
Well, thank you so much for joining us in the commentary booth. Congrats on the second place. And before we let you go, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
As always, to everybody, to Amir for having this league, to you guys. I'm sure that I'm gonna watch the broadcast later on. It's always funny. So thank you guys. Thanks to everybody. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much for joining us, Ruben.
Bye-bye.
Well, Adam, it was good to hear from him. I think we've got time for maybe one more. Let's see who else we got.
Yeah, let's move on to... have we got Maddie Bakar? No, I don't think so. Let's get Michael Sherling in, who had a pretty interesting race. Plenty of stories to tell there. In fact, he had a very good scrap with Yosti Goodbye as well, didn't he? Let's get him in now. Michael, can you hear us?
Yeah, hey guys.
Well, when the pit stops were completed, it looked like you were on for a 3rd place, but then a spin happened down at the Villeneuve chicane. Talk us through what happened there.
Yeah, this was really frustrating. I was so happy I'm 3rd after all the incident in the first lap. And I was a little bit, coming down. And in this chicane, need to be very careful with the sausage curb. So yeah, so I hit it and spun. Unfortunately,
How did you manage to avoid all the incidents that took place at the start of the race?
no, I did not avoid it. I was fourth place back then, or fifth, I don't remember. And me, Rem, and Ruven started all the incident. So I was really inside. So my car was completely wrecked. I was, I don't know, one of the last places. Went to the pits. So I did not avoid it. I just pitted really early, and then I had a pretty much clear track. So I guess I made up the places, or everyone were involved in the incident. I don't know.
And then after the spin, you had to be involved in a really close battle towards the end between yourself and Reem Gross. It was a brilliant battle to watch from our side of things. But what was it like in the car?
Yeah, looking now, it was fun. Back then, it was super scary because I knew how fast Ryan is and what a good driver. So it was super difficult, but a lot of fun. This is like the biggest fun in sim racing. Let's say when two good drivers can fight like this for so many laps. So it was extremely close. And we gave each other space, so it was very fun, a lot of fun.
Great. Well, before we let you go, then, Michael, is there anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, to Amir, to you guys, to Hagai and Shalva for the teaching they are doing for the tracks. This helped me a lot, and thanks a lot to Ruven Chacha who almost spin and caused all the field to crash and made it a more exciting race.
There we go. Well, people do love crashes, I think. Well, Michael, thanks a lot for taking the time to come and speak to us today. And yeah, hopefully we'll speak to you again in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, guys.
Well, it was good to hear from Michael Sherling then, and we've got time for quick interview then with Mr. Fifth Place man, Yossi. Goodbye. Let's get him in here for a quick word then. Yossi, welcome back to the commentary booth after a podium last time out. You're back up there again in fifth this week.
Yeah, yeah, it's going good to me recently. Yeah.
Well, you took advantage of the massive wreck in lap number 1. How did you get through that?
It was like going to a maze. I just saw all the accident in front. I slowed down very much, almost to a stop. I just kept driving very slowly and was praying in my heart that I will pass everything okay. And it eventually became out good for me.
Well, 2 very good finishes for you recently. That must have done wonders for your championship.
Yeah. I'm sure it will push me up on the table much more.
Absolutely. Well, 2 weeks time, I believe we head to Okayama. What are your thoughts about that circuit?
Yeah, I drove that circuit with the Ferrari GT3, and actually I like it very much with the Ferrari. I'm not sure how it's going to be with the Porsche because of how the Porsche behave, but I hope it will be okay again for me.
Yeah, well, the second half of the season has been great for you so far. Wish you the best of luck for the next round, Yossi. Thanks for coming to have a quick chat to us. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just to everyone who participate in the league, and you guys commentating is so good. It's very happy. Makes me very happy to watch the videos and the commentary. It's really good.
Oh, thank you for the kind words, Yossi, and thank you for joining us once again in the commentary box, and hopefully we'll be able to get you back in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you.
That was good to hear from Yossi there, Adam. I believe we got time to squeeze in one more driver.
Let's get Sione then, and let's have a quick debrief with him about what happened in the race today. Ran, can you hear us?
Yes, hi guys, how are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Well, the Gulf Racing Porsche with you was definitely in the wars today. Did you use up both your one and only fast repair, burying it into the wall on the exit?
I actually used both of them.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a pretty tough race with the accident at the start, and then I think my right wheel was damaged, so I had to limp my way back to the pits. And even with the limp, I managed to enter the pits a bit too fast, and I got a penalty, like a 40 seconds, I think. So that was pretty bad. And then when I got back, a couple of laps later, I hit the wall again, and had to tow. I got stuck in the wall, so I had to tow my car to the pits. And once again, like a minute and a half went through. So that's what happened.
How difficult was it to get back to the pits after you picked up that damage on the opening lap? It certainly looked quite tough.
Yeah, it was limping and kept veering off to the side and to the right, and everybody went by, and I had to let everybody by safely without hitting them, and it was pretty difficult. And right at the end, everybody went by, so I could enter the pits, but somehow I managed to enter a bit too fast, and I still got a penalty. So, yep.
2 weeks then, we go to Okayama. Do you think that'll be a bit of a easier challenge for you and the rest of the field?
Well, I hope so. I think that most of us are familiar with Okayama, and you know what? Even this race was supposed to look a bit different. I was fifth in the practice session, so I'm crossing my fingers, and I hope the next race will be safer, and I'll get a bit luckier.
Yeah, we hope so too. Well, thanks for waiting as well. The last driver to be interviewed today, and all the best. And we'll speak to you again in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, guys.
Well then, that was a pretty eventful race. I've just managed to watch it back throughout the interviews. The first couple of laps that I missed, yeah, that was a massive incident. On lap number 1, there was pretty much everyone involved, as you were saying, Adam. But yeah, that was the rest of the race. It was some pretty good driving out there, pretty clean racing as well. Cannot wait for 2 weeks at Okayama. The drivers don't seem to like it, but there are a couple of half-decent overtaking opportunities there. It should be a good one to watch, Adam.
Yeah, it's a track that most of the field should know, because of course once you start on iRacing, you go to the Mazda MX-5 rookies, and that track's usually on the calendar. It's part of the base content. So when you join iRacing, it's part of the free track, one of the free tracks that you get when you first sign up. So it's a track that many of the drivers will know well. Probably why they all don't like it. They're probably fed up of having to race on it. So we'll see what happens there in a couple of weeks, and we'll see if anything else can surprise us in this series. It's been action-packed. It's been a really action-packed season.
Yeah, definitely. And only 4 rounds left of the iRacing Israel League. Join us back on the iRacing Israel League YouTube channel, as well as their Facebook page, and also on Apex Racing TV, of course, in 2 weeks' time, same time on Mondays. We're going to be back at Okayama in 2 weeks' time, but until then, from Adam and I, and Simuli Kuma in production, and everyone else here at the iRacing Israel League and Apex Racing TV, wish you a good night and happy racing.